Hello there, my name is Joseph P. Buchanan. I am president of the Black Political Action Committee. We are here to welcome you in the community of Rhode Island, a place for real black community to be empowered regardless of the background or socioeconomic status. Remember, this is the Black PAC, who is trying to enhance the lives of black people everywhere. Doing a live take, yeah?
Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 2 of the Rhode Island Black PAC Introductory series. Like I said in the last video, we're looking to dive into the histories of the activists that work with the Black PAC so that the people can know a little bit about what we've done and where we're coming from, but also so that anyone who's interested in activism themselves can hear some of the stories of what's happened in the past in Rhode Island, in Providence, and get a little bit of a better perspective on what's really been going on for the last 40, 50 years of Rhode Island history. Today, I'm interviewing Miss Deborah Wray. She is an activist that works with the Black PAC and has there's a lot of people in the community that respect Miss Deborah, right? And I'm one of those people, so I'm really happy to be here with you.
Speak up loud.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I am doing fine today. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm really happy you took the time to sit with me. I really hope, I'm excited to ask you this stuff because there's a bunch of questions that I haven't been able to ask you yet.
Okay.
I'm really hopeful to get it going. But to start out, I would love to know, like, where were you born and raised?
Okay. I'm originally from Pattison, New Jersey. I was raised in New York City. I was educated there. I came here from California, Los Angeles, California. And the first visit that they had back in 1976 or 77. But anyway, I stayed here because I was able to get a job right after, while the blizzard was going on. I got my first factory job, and I was able to move into also public housing, which was great for me, a single mom, raising children, and not knowing anybody in the community. I have some family here. I'm an in-law, but again, I got to meet people, and I decided to stay here and raise my children here.
That's cool. What was your childhood like growing up here?
Well, I had a wonderful childhood. As far as I'm concerned, I have relatives in New York City, from 116th Street and Lenox Avenue, from 125th Street in New York City, all the way to upstate New York. Mount Vernon, New York was my high school. I graduated at 14 years old from high school, and then I went to college, Bronx Community College. I went to Passaic Community College in New Jersey while I was pregnant with my first son. I had a good time. I am the oldest of 5 at that time, and it was just really great. So I have no complaints. I have a very large family. We're family oriented, raised in Mount Vernon, New York. So what can I say? I've been all over in my lifetime. I've enjoyed what I had to do and what I have learned. People is power, knowledge is power, and education is definitely on my mainstream.
I'm curious, which sister are you? If you had 5 family members, everyone has a different personality. Which one was you?
Well, back in the day, I was very quiet, very shy. As we all know, back then you had to listen to your adults. I was educated by all my aunties and uncles, but a child stayed in a child's place. So they gave me the best. I'm the oldest of my family, my mom and dad, and my father was a railroad worker, worked on the railroad all his life. My mom was a stay-home mom. I played the piano. So, I mean, to me, I had a wonderful life because my father made sure he done the best. He educated us to make sure we got educated and work for what we wanted. And that's exactly the same attitude and mentality that I had.
That's really cool. Do you do you know when you started organizing? Like, what kind of pulled you into wanting to take more of a leadership role in your community?
Yeah, I was living in Hartford Project for several years. Back then, the, the projects or development was a community. The people in the community looked out for me. Some of my neighbors back then, they watched my children while I went to work. Neighbors took me and showed me how to go to bingo on the bingo bus. They used to come around in our developments and pick us up. I got started basically in advocating in housing with a woman that was really great. Her name was Rose Vega, and another great lady named Ruth Durrett from Manton Project. Mm-hmm. And they was educating the tenets of our Constitution and basic rights. Again, that piqued my interest, but I still had to go to work and get a regular job. So when my kids were going to Head Start, I volunteered at McMichael's Head Start. I volunteered my time, and then I got a factory job over there off of, in the North Providence area. I was driving, so I had a car for transportation. So basically, it was just, the reason why I started was just for knowledge, just to know exactly where I come from and where I'm at now. I'm in a state called Providence Plantation. And to me, I had a problem with that word, but I couldn't understand why people who live here didn't have a problem with that word, okay? Again, where I was educated at, what we learned about Rhode Island was considered an industrial state. It was also considered a nickname called the TB state, tuberculosis. But when I came here and I saw the community and the people, and I saw that it was more family-oriented. Everybody's basically related some kind of way to one another. But again, going downtown, seeing Providence City Hall at nighttime with the motorcycles down there, Haven's trucks down there, the fishing thing over there on South Side. It was different atmosphere on South Side area, especially on Broad Street. Back then, they had places that you can go get some Southern food. And, you know, people was out. People was more together. I won't say they knew their place. I just say that it was welcoming. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I stayed. Like I said, I got a job. I stayed. Mm-hmm. So, hey, I'm still here. But in my meantime of still working, I was still going to housing meetings, finding out the law. Here in Hartford Park, we used to have monthly housing meetings, and I used to go to that. So I learned about the system and learned about where they come from and how this development was built and how long it's been here and how it was segregated for a while. Blacks on one side, whites on the other, where you couldn't walk down the street at a certain time of night. To me, I was not used to that because I lived in a world in New York and New Jersey that people are people. We can all live together. You understand what I'm saying? As long as I'm minding my business, you mind yours. But if I need a helping hand, somebody would help. I'm used to that as a kid growing up into it as an adult. So what I've learned and what I've experienced in life, I use here. I use in my lifetime. So I got offered the opportunity to be educated with a program that the Housing Authority was given at OIC for some residents of the development, and I took the test, made the course, and it was statewide. So there was a large number of us who started in the beginning, but it filtered down to, I think, 6 people who really passed the course. I had the opportunity to work for the Providence Housing Authority, but I took the opportunity to work for the federal government called HUD, Housing and Urban Development. Now I took that because they gave me the opportunity to have flexi hours. Cool. Flexi hours mean you go in at 7 o'clock as long as you get your 8 hours. But if you had to leave, you could, but you could also return back. that made it so I can participate in my kids' school activity and what they would do. So it wasn't like I couldn't show up for a recital or graduation or musical. I could, and I could also go back to work and do my work before 7 o'clock that night. And that's what I did. And that was located right downtown in the city of Providence, in the post office building on the 3rd floor. So I worked there as a voucher examiner. The voucher exam was across the whole United States of America. In doing that task and that job, my responsibilities were to answer phones, deal with landlords, deal with management, to make sure that the managers were keeping proper records on the people that was living in low-income housing across the United States of America. And that was my job there. So I loved it.
And I was at OIC?
Yeah, I got trained at OIC. I got a job at the Federal Building downtown through the training from OIC, from the Providence Housing Authority, working through their program. Now, I also still continue to work with McMichael's Head Start and going there and advocating for the children of Head Start, educating our children. I help with other people get the buses to come back into the development to pick all the kids up so we wouldn't have to walk. Because if you lived in Hartford, in this area here, you had to walk to Plainfield Street to McMichael's Head Start. Sometimes that was very tedious, and I've done it. I've also had to put my kids in Laurel Hill Avenue School and on the same route in the same way. So it's very difficult sometimes, but with the change of the things going down through the system the right way, it worked out fine and worked out well for a lot of people. And we also had the same opportunity to be educated. At the same time, back in the day, the programs were set up to help people better themselves in life.
Is there anything like OIC right now in Rhode Island?
No, not in Rhode Island. I do know that the Providence Housing Authority have different types of programs, but not so much as educating somebody to do better for themselves. Not to my knowledge right now.
Okay.
I mean, they have programs called the Family Self-Sufficiency Program, but again, you already got to have a job and put money in escrow, so forth and so on, and go through that process. That's totally different than what they did back in the day. Back in the day, they educated people. Back in the day, when you needed furniture, you called the furniture bank and they would come out and give you furniture. Back in the day, the milk trucks used to come in here and deliver milks to our doors. The newspapers used to deliver newspapers to our doors. All those things have changed and have not been able to restart all over again. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
It's crazy. Every time I talk with you guys, I hear about so many of these old things that were so nice that like don't exist anymore. And I know that people in my generation don't know about these things at all. So we're honestly missing out and not even realizing we're missing out.
Well, you basically are, but all you have to do is talk to your grandmother, your auntie, the old lady down the street. There's always people that head out the window or the door. You understand what I'm saying? You have to know where you come from in order to know where you're going. Because if you don't, you're gonna set yourself up for failure. You can't tell me how to do something when it's already been done and the ways to be successful, but somebody wants to change it. It's all right with change. Change is good when it benefits everybody. Change is not good when it benefits one person or individual or group. Okay, we have all these groups. I volunteer myself with Rhode Island Housing. I volunteered myself with the Homeless Corporation. It was a group of us. I volunteered myself with domestic violence. I'm one of the first or second person that was in that initial group of people. Started out with 5, maybe 6 in somebody's space, and we were talking about it. And now look at domestic violence today. Look at where it's come. There's been a lot of change, pluses and minuses. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So in saying that is not benefiting just one. It benefits everybody now, male as well as female. We started off as female, but we have learned that males need help too. That is constant every day. This is Hartford Avenue, Route 6 used to be an old highway to get back and forth from state to state. This is Hartford Avenue, the old Route 6. So you're going to see all that.
Okay. My next question, I'm wondering, I've heard all these little like bits and pieces of the things that you've done, but I know I'm not going to get anywhere near a whole picture of everywhere you've been. But I was really curious if you could name maybe like the top three like moments in the like work that you've done that you feel like really highlight what you believe needs to be happening, and what you've always fought for.
Well, the first one I'll say is what they did in Newport. I was with a group of ladies and residents from Providence, Barrington, Cumberland, Newport, and we started an organization called Rifta. And what we did is help advocate and educate other developments to see the positive things that was going on. I'll say it this way. Back in the day, the Newport Resident Council in Newport, that is no longer in existence the same way. They still in existence, but it's different. But back in the day, the residents up there in Newport in development called Festival Fields and oh God, I can't even think of the name of the other development. Tammany Hill, for example, residents had a say about how their development was run, how the business was taken on. They wasn't left out. Then we had an opportunity to go to Washington, meet with Senator Jack Reed. People went, not paid people, and paid people went too, but I'm talking about the residents who worked every day. The residents that sat home and was willing to take that time out to go. And we came back and brought that information back. Now, what I mean by information, if you go up there now in Newport, where they redevelopment changed, they have a development up there now that was all public housing, but now it's not. It's mixed income. It's still in the same area. The buildings are beautiful. The houses are beautiful. They're intertwined with Mass. They're intertwined with Rhode Island housing, things like that. Was I part of that conversation with the rest of them? Yes, I was. Is that a great accomplishment to me? Yes, it is. I didn't get to enjoy living up there, but I see my grandchildren and my children live up there. And when they first moved up there, they said to me, oh, we're moving in this new project, this new development, this new private housing. And I kept saying, it's public housing. They kept saying, no, it's not. And I said, I got the pictures and I got the documents to show you what I'm talking about, you know? So that's why I say, if you listen to some old people that will tell you their history of where they're from and what went on back in the day, like I know Mr. Jones. I didn't get Mr. Jones's business, but I knew Mr. Jones. I knew Mr. Jones's children. You understand? It's called a matter of respect. I still issue the same thing here. I know my neighbors. I know who's here, who don't belong here, who belong here. So when they're not here, I feel as though it's my job to make sure nobody's robbing them or stealing from them. That's called a community. We're looking out for one another. You understand what I'm saying? In the same token, I may even know the robbers and may be able to turn them minds around and tell them, look, you don't want to go that way. Why you don't want to go that way? Because you're going to end up in jail and ain't nothing we can do for you in there. But then I went one step further. I became the president of Hartford Park, this development. I became the president of this development for a mighty long time. There's rules and regulations in order to get in that position, and I followed them, and I did. I stopped being the president when my son was murdered. but I turned it over to another resident who lived in public housing that was being educated just like me. So in doing that, we established the Resident Advisory Board. We worked together with the Providence Housing Authority. So now the Providence Housing Authority have a regular meeting with tenants from the Providence Housing Authority, all of the housing authorities that they own, are a part of, and they come in and they let or voice their opinions about rules and regulations and the changes of what goes on and what and where and what we live in. You know what I'm saying? Again, some of them have been beautiful on the outside, but it's not the outside that you worry about, it's the inside. You understand? I remember here, the spot we sitting here used to be houses. They tore that down and made extra parking. You understand? That's my second. My third is when I got involved with Direct Action for Rights and Equality. I got involved with them dealing with police brutality. A young man came here and asked me could he speak to the people, and I gave him the opportunity to let people know what was going on the other side of town. So this way here, it's not one side against the other side. You understand what I'm saying? It's called unity. So in continuing to do that, not just talk about it, but do it and be a part of it, that's what I did. So I volunteered myself, I educated myself. Then I became the president of, quote unquote, Direct Action for Rights and Equality, until my term was up, and now it's turned over to another president. So bottom line is, it's all in what you learn. I learned about our rights. I learned about how to go to the state house, how to talk to the representatives, how to talk to people in general, so they can feel what we're feeling. Because at the end of the day, it's all about our votes. If I vote you in office, I can vote you out. Again, let's change the name, plantation. Let's understand what it means. Let's be educated about where Black people have done a lot in this city of Providence, Rhode Island, and not being recognized. We are now starting to be recognized in the year 2019, 20, and 21. But I remember when we wasn't. I remember when if you said something, somebody wanted to hush you down. Well, I have a very big mouth, and I just speak the truth. I do. What I say to you is what I do to you. If I'm going to say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'll see it go through. I've been a housing advocate in doing that. So you never went alone. Because a lot of people tell you what to do, but you go by yourself. No, I'm not that bird. Now, currently, I'm on the PARA board, Police External Review Authority. Being on that board, being a part of that, is to make sure that we get dirty cops out and keep good cops in. Not defunding, but keep the dirty cops out and the good cops in. Now, what do I mean? You have officers that's been there 40, 50, 60 years, and they set in their own ways. So it's okay for them to come and punch you in your face or spit on you. No, it's not. You have a constitutional rights. Tell people their rights. Same thing I learned that there, through behind the walls. You understand? People's rights, changing things. I was a part of that. I've done that, and we still need to do it today and continue. Now the other.
We can pause. I can edit the video.
Okay.
So.
There are other things that has come to term there's always been. But remember, homelessness, that is such a big thing right now. But I remember when they had a place for people that didn't have a place to sleep at night, and you go out there by the prison. They tore that down. They sent it back over here to the old YMCA, which they called it the Crossroads. The old YMCA used to be a hotel for people that got lost here or stopped in and needed a place to sleep just for the night. All that's changed. Parkers Avenue, You used to be able to get a room for a night. Now you have that access is not here anymore. The same people that you see back then living high and doing well are now homeless. So like I said, you got one foot in the door and one foot out at all times. Because we are controlled by somebody. But God should be the only one that controls us, not me. That's what I feel. And that's what I feel. Did I scare you?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
I love everything you're saying. The more you talk, the more questions I have. The next thing I want to ask is what are some of the problems that you feel like the Black community is facing today that people aren't talking about?
Unity. Black people do not stick together. Very much so now than I'll say in the past. Black people are not given a fair break. Even in trying to buy a house, trying to rent a house, maybe buy a new car, there's a stigma on Black people. If you live in a project and you walk and you're driving a 2021 car, you must be a drug dealer. Really? Can't believe that you don't work 3 jobs to get that car. But if you get too much of that car, then they count you being one step being homeless because your income done went in, so you can't afford to move out. So again, Black people. Broad Street in the past used to be predominantly, to me, as an outsider, a Black neighborhood. Federal Hill was the Italian neighborhood. You can tell. Okay. Now we have mixed ourselves, and that's fine. But we didn't have the same opportunity to buy those stores. The white man wouldn't rent the stores to the Black man, but he would rent the stores to the brown man. The brown man meaning the Hispanic or Latino nationality. We're not mad at that. But again, that's a step back in our face if you look at the reality of it. I should have the same opportunity as a Latino person to get that chance to own that store. But it is set up today to downside us. So if you're not in a certain tax bracket, I'll put it that way, or making that type of money, then you're gonna have a very hard time getting it. If you want to start your own business, there's a lot of small business loans today that can help you where it wasn't before. But again, you still got to answer to somebody. You're still limited, restricted to certain things. Today, the worst thing of all is the population of drugs. Drugs is everywhere, in every nationality, but they're boasted out more so with the Blacks and browns than they do any other nationality. Now I can go up there in a very rich area, sit there, smoke all the weed and snort all the coke I want to behind a big tall fence and nobody know the difference. But if I come out here, it's an issue and it's a problem. She's a drug dealer, she's this, she's that. They want to label you. I am not one to be labeled. I am who I am. A Black woman in America, in the city, in the town of Providence, Rhode Island, will still want to use the word plantation, that I still want to fight for. So we need change, but we need to do the work together. If I come out to advocate for you, I want you with me. The system is not set up where I can speak for you. If I go to court, Superior Court, I can't talk for you. You have to be the one to talk. But what I can do for you is be right there by your side at all times. Did I answer your question?
It does.
Okay.
How did Why did you choose to be a part of the Black PAC, and how does that connect to your feelings about the issues you just described?
Well, first of all, I'm Black. Hello. Okay. Second of all, I was educated back there on 125th Street with the Black Panthers and the rest of that was my education.
Mhm.
It was my education to also know where I come from.
Mhm.
When I learned about this organization, I had the opportunity to listen and to see that they were Black businesses like Bell's Funeral Home, Bright's Funeral Home, different liquor stores, whatever. These people were entrepreneurs, but they were Black and they were trying to do something with their community.
Mhm.
Yes, I want to be a part of that.
Mhm.
Yes, I want to continue that. Yes, I want the future younger generation to step in. It's my time to rest. I'm old. That's why I'm sitting here in my rock chair. It's my time to rest. It's your time as young adults to continue. And that's what's happening. But I believe and feel you need to know where you come from in order to know where you're going. And this way here, you won't make the same mistakes or you won't try to reinvent the wheel. Knowledge is power. People are afraid of knowledge. You cannot tell me something that I saw. It's not hearsay when I seen it. It's not hearsay when I lived it or went through it. It's not hearsay. I don't want to come out the woodwork just because. No. I'm coming out to say to all young Black, brown people, especially Black people, we are here. Use us. Use your family members, the old lady and the young man. Use us. We're here to help you, not to hurt you. Now, you may do it a different way because you do tweet and TikTok.
TikTok.
TikTok, you know what I'm saying? And you are more educated in those fields. Use that ability to the best to make you better and pass it on to the younger generation after you. Because right now, they don't pick up books. Everything's on that phone. You don't have to read a book and you gotta listen to a book. I try to give books away. I try to get children books where they say, "Mom, we don't do that anymore." No, my kids are straight. Don't forget where you come from. Don't turn your head when you see somebody down. Offer help. Now, if they take that help, fine. If they don't want it, that's fine too. But you cannot say you didn't offer it. Because it's at the same token, it's as good as you are, wherever you in your life right now, and it may be the positive thing, you can't come down. There are some people out there that you need to talk to that are homeless, that was at the top, and right now they're at the bottom, and that don't make no sense. Know your law. Know your constitution. Know your rights. And don't be afraid to speak up, because you will have support. All you got to do is do it, and somebody will be there for you. Like me. Hello. I'm just saying.
That was beautiful. You answered my next question without me asking.
Oh. Well, thank you. It's my pleasure.
We're almost done.
No problem.
I was wondering what your thoughts are on this upcoming election year, if you have any. We're currently in 2021 right now.
Yeah. Well,
just locally.
Locally.
Yeah.
I hope and pray that whoever takes those offices in those positions be very truthful with the people. I hope and pray that they are as honest as they can be when they're trying to get my votes. Because like I said, and I'll continue to say, I'm not a very nice person when it comes to a liar. I can understand when you make a mistake, but just don't lie. We can correct mistakes when they come in truthful. We can't correct the lie. And don't downsize somebody else to build yourself up. If you can't do it, ask the people for help. Tell the people what's going on, and don't attack until you know all sides of every story. That's what I feel about the election coming up. Am I willing to be out there to help register voters? Yes. Have I done that? Yes. Have I worked in the booth to be there on election day? Yes, I'm willing to do that. Again, as long as you be truthful in what you do in your actions to the best of your ability, then you'll have all the support in the world. But when you lie, there's consequences. And I hope they're ready for it, because I know I am.
Why would you like to be involved with what they say is a controversial Black Political Action Committee?
Well, I don't.
Rhode Island Black PAC.
I don't believe that Black PAC is a controversial committee. I believe Black PAC is a committee that is educating our Black young people in the United States, especially here in Providence, Rhode Island, on this plantation. And as long as we can do that, we that are a part of that, we who want to be a part of that, then I'm all for it. So I don't see it as controversy. Like I said, if you tell the truth, you don't have to worry about it. If you lie, I'm going to call you a liar. But if you're telling the truth, I'm going to support you 100%. The same thing you tell your kids. If you do the right thing, I'll support you. If you do the wrong thing, I'm the first one to lock you up. Please believe that. It is what it is. So that's why Deborah Wray is involved with Black PAC and any organization that believes in freedom, knowledge, and education of us. Because we are somebody.
That was beautiful.
Well, it's real.
It's real.
It's not words. Anybody will tell you, I do what I say I'm going to do.
No, I know that.
And if I don't do it, there's a reason. If I turn my back on you, you best believe there's a reason. And I don't have to say why, because you, the individual, will know why I don't want to deal with you.
Yeah. You're great. You're great.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I've been called all kind of things. So great. It's real good.
my last question is what's the legacy you want to leave for, like, do you have an idea of what your legacy would be if you?
I guess my legacy, that is a very good question. I really have never thought about that. But I guess it just is be real. Be real in what you believe in and help somebody. Somebody prayed for me. I'm praying for you to continue to do that. Don't forget where you come from. That's all I can say. That's a very good question. Thank you for asking. I hope I answered it.
I don't think you did.
Well,
I want to. You gave me a final message, but maybe more of what.
If you're going to say anything about Deborah L. Wray, you're going to say she's real.
One thing about Ms. Deb, she is the chairman of the leadership team. So if anybody wants to learn how to be a strong and committed leader, follow your heart when you talk to Ms. Deborah L. Wray. That's one thing. She's a marvelous Black woman. Yes, she is a senior, but she has more spunk than any one of you young folks.
I'm trying, baby. I'm trying. I'm still here. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna close this out.
Okay.
I really appreciated this.
My pleasure.
Yeah. For all the viewers, we just want to thank you again for taking time to check out the Black PAC Introductory series. If you want to keep up with us, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And this series will be on YouTube soon, and on our website. If you look for the Black PAC RI or just the Black PAC, you'll be able to find us on any of those spaces. And we hope to see you again real soon.
Well, all right. Thank you. I hope I did okay.
You did great.
Hey, I just
Yeah,
kept it real.
Everybody's gonna sit. Show it to her on there. Watch this.